All right, class, this is application of right triangles. If you're in my Math 100 class, this is written assignment 8 and problem number 9. Okay, so it said here that BH is perpendicular to AC. So I see that there is a right angle right there. And the question is asking for X. So in order to find X, we go ahead and focus here on this purple right triangle. In that purple right triangle, we know 11 is one of the sides, and we are looking for X, right? So if we were to use trigonometry, we would have to know an angle within that right triangle because we know one of the sides. That's not going to help us because you don't know what C is, or we don't know what B is. So let's call this side right here Y. I think I could use the triangle on the left-hand side and other information to figure out what Y is. If we know what Y is, then we can use Pythagorean theorem, meaning Y squared plus 11 squared is equal to X squared within that right triangle right here where you have 11, Y, and X, right? Pythagoras said leg 1 square plus leg 2 square is equal to the hypotenuse square. And that's what we get. Now, if we know what Y is, then we can go and solve for X. Okay, so that's the plan. In order to go and solve for Y, let's take a look at this right triangle on the other side, the orange right triangle on this side here. We know a side length, which is 11. We know the angle 39. So in relation to number angle 39, 11 would be your opposite side. And let's call this thing Z. We don't know what Z is. Now, Z is the adjacent side to angle 39. So I could use trigonometry to figure out what Z is. All right. Once I find Z, then I can say, look, this 19 represent this whole entire length here. So once I find out what Z is, I can subtract that from 19 and I can get Y. And then I could solve for X. That's a good plan. All right. So we know, what do we know in trigonometry? What do we know? We know SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. That is what we have in that orange triangle. So we would say tangent of which angle? 39 degrees is equal to opposite, which is 11, divided by Z is the adjacent side. In order to solve for Z, I would have to go ahead and undo Z on the denominator by multiplying by Z to both sides. Okay, so undo Z. So I will have Z times tangent of 39 equals 11. And so in order to solve for Z, I would have to go and divide by tangent of 39. So Z is equal to 11 divided by tangent of 39 degrees. Now, if you haven't already bookmarked a nice scientific calculator on your computer, I think you should do this decimal scientific calculator. Decimal scientific calculator is what you're looking at here. And I like this because you can see what you are typing. 11 divided by tangent of 39 degrees. Okay, now, and then you can see your answer right there, and that is 13.584. 13.584 is Z. Okay, so let's go back to our problem here. Z is approximately 13.584. How many decimal places do you use? It depends on the problem, and it depends on the number and how you want to round it up. And if you are using My Math Lab as your homework, then you know what? Look at the instruction. It will tell you how many decimals to use. All right. Now that I have Z, that is 13.58. Then I would go and say, well, then Y is equal to 19 minus 13.584. Okay, go back to my calculator, which is this. 19 minus 13.584 is equal to 5.416. 5.416. So Y is approximately 5.416. So I can say, I'm going to go back to where Y is right here and say that is 5.416 square plus 11 square is equal to X square. So X square is equal to, let's go back to my calculator. I would say answer square plus 11 square is 150.33, and then I would say square root of my answer, and then square root of my answer, and I will have 12.26. Okay, so that was 150.33 approximately. And so for X, by square rooting both sides, that's how we would undo square. And X is approximately, I forgot what I said, it was 12.26. 12.26, approximately 12.26. And that is how we found X.